What's going on, everyone? I'm super excited today. We have the first episode of our podcast. I have Tyler, I have Hans, Photo Booth 101 family members in the house. Really quick, guys, just introduce yourselves really quick.
So, I am Hans, owner of Best Photo Booths LA, here located in the San Fernando Valley. I also run a business called Tito's Toros. Those are mechanical bulls. We also have tables and chairs. And I'm a part-time paramedic.
All right, and my name is Tyler Rodriguez, owner of TKR Events in Old Bridge, New Jersey, and I just started the business. I want to say in May, 2023, and I am here on Drew's podcast, ready to kill it. So let's go.
Yes. So we don't even have a name for this podcast yet. We're gonna figure it out by the end of this podcast, episode 1. We will have a name, but if you're new here, we're going to just literally talk about photo booth related stuff. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a silly goose time. We're just going to relax and just enjoy ourselves. I don't want all this stuff to be too serious, but let's just dive right into it, right? Let's just get right into it. I want to know, what is the weirdest thing that's happened to you guys at a photo booth event? Whether that's like post-event, pre-event, during an event. I'll go first. Mine was I got a call like maybe 2-3 in the morning, missed call. This was for a drop off that we did. It was the bride. She was freaking out because her cousin lifted her shirt up during one of the photos and was showing her cha-chas, right?
Oh my God.
Yeah. The bride didn't know that the gallery was public, even though it says it in the contract and we tell them. She had no idea. So everyone that used the photo booth, you guys, was looking at this girl's chi-chis. And she was just like, please delete it. And I'm like, I woke up and I was like, oh my God, because people don't know, they don't know that their photo goes to the gallery. Sometimes
That's funny that you said that, because I had somebody on Saturday. They did something, not something like embarrassing, but they just, they got a public, gallery sent to them as well when they put their phone number in, and they came up to me and they're like, oh, why is this other people's photos? I could see that too. I'm like, well, it's a live gallery, but this was a free event that I did on Saturday. So it wasn't something like, oh, I had to write a contract for. It was kind of something that I just did for somebody I knew. And then the person, one of their guests was like, oh, but I saw other people's photos. Isn't that a little like, how would you say, not private? And I'm like, oh no, like this, it's a live gallery. You can see everything. So I was like, oh.
Yeah, it's crazy. What about you, Hans?
I don't know about crazy, but the funniest thing that happened to me, a lady called me. There's a rural city called Fillmore, and they called me from Fillmore. All right, I live on Fillmore Street here in the San Fernando Valley. Okay, so she was telling me like, hey, I'm in Fillmore. I want your services. I was like, great. I'm actually on Fillmore myself. She's like, oh, that's awesome. I was like, yeah, you're my neighbor. Like, let's do it. And we were going back and forth for like a good 5 minutes when we realized that she was like an hour and something away from me, which I do not service. And so we were confused by the end. We're like, wait, what are you talking about? She was giving me these cross streets and I couldn't find them. I was like, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about. She's like, they're main streets. You should know. I was like, no. And then I was like, give me your full address because I think we're like confused. And she turns out she was in Fillmore City, and I thought she was on Fillmore Street. So a good 5 minutes I have no idea.
Dude, that's so funny. You reminded me. I'm so glad my wife Monse walked out of here, because this is a story, and I don't think anyone would ever really think that this could happen, but it happened to us. So she went to a school. I don't want to say the name of the school, right? Let's just call it Walnut High, right? So she went to Walnut High, and this is like a year ago. And this is what I'm excited to talk about this stuff, because even though I've been in the business almost 9 years, this stuff still happens, right? So she's like, oh, let me reach out to my what do you call it, alma mater, the school she graduated to. She goes, I'm gonna reach out to Walnut High and offer them a free photo booth. How awesome would it be to have them, as a client? I'm like, yeah, heck yeah, babe, go for it. So a week goes by, she's talking, she Googled, she found the email. I think it was just kind of like ASB at walnuthighschool.com or whatever. And she's communicating with them. And then we basically booked a free event with them like 2 months down the line. So we're excited. We get the template done. We roll up to the event, the day of the event. which was on a weekday, that had me super excited. Even though it was free, I'm like, this is just gonna kind of tell us that we're gonna get a lot of bookings from them. So we rolled up. I called the guy because we have the info. I'm like, hey, so I'm by the swimming pool. I don't see the gym. They're like, I don't think maybe you're in the wrong side of the pool because I'm right out here. I don't see anyone. So I was like, oh, okay. And he goes, hold on, let me swing around. He goes, hey, I did a 360. I don't see anyone. So I'm like, oh, I was like, how many swimming pools do you guys have? He goes, just one. So I'm like, interesting. And then I was like, okay. So literally 30 minutes went by us trying to find each other. Turns out she reached out to Walnut High School in Northern California. It's a different school with the same name.
No.
So
Oh,
I'm sitting there, and then they literally like, while we're like looking for each other, right? He's like, you have no idea. The kids are so excited to have this photo booth. They're so excited. They're like, hey, one of the moms even bought props for this. And I'm like,
Oh
oh,
no.
oh my God, you gotta like rush to the next place just
dude.
because.
I was
No,
like,
dude, it's Northern California. It's like 4 hours, 5 hours away.
yeah, no, I did the math. It was 8.5 hours away.
Yeah, see, no, there's no way.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
I felt so bad, but like, I'm like, thank God that like we were doing this for free. And like the part that I'll never forget, while we're hanging up, he goes, all right, sorry, kids. And then I'm like, oh no.
oh, it's like that moment the kids are just like they're like sorry kids, no photo booth today. Oh man, like, they just simultaneously just say like, oh.
Dude. It was so sad because like I was like, man, they were probably so excited, like they never had a photo booth at their school. So I'm like, that's kind of crazy that they didn't have one, you know? And it turns out, like, I did more research after, like, it's a small school. And like they probably, like, out of the middle of nowhere, with probably like 200, 300 students, like a tiny, tiny school. And I'm like, man, I don't know how this happened, but yeah. So let's talk about a different note, you guys. Let's talk about I don't want to get too serious here, but let's talk about, like, I always like to ask, people, and I've heard you guys' reasons, but why did you guys start your business? Like, what about the photo booth business had you guys interested?
Yeah, I started because as a medic, I'm making good money, but I didn't see myself doing it for like the rest of my life. And there was like, yeah, there's retirement that they can do for you, pension stuff. I don't want to do any of that because I want to leave generational wealth. And I saw that my other business was taking off and is doing well. I was like, why not just add a different branch to it and just kind of build that generational wealth that I could pass on to my daughter. So that's what I'm focused on.
Yeah, I could agree. So I have the 9 to 5. I work the 9 to 5 schedule. I was trying to look for something because I've always been a side hustler. I've always been that type of person. Like, it's either okay after the 5 o'clock job, it's always, oh, get that second job, do something else. So I was like, okay, so how can I be my own boss, make my own schedule, and be able to do something on my own? Obviously, did a lot of different things throughout that time. Squeegeeing windows for people, stuff like that, like washing their windows while they were like and the stop sign and stuff like that. Like, it was like crazy stuff I would think of. And then me and my uncle, came across I came across Drew's thing about selling the renting the games. And I was like, oh, that's perfect. I live like no more than 30 minutes at that time towards MetLife Stadium, which is Giants and Jets Stadium where they play football. I was like, oh, this is perfect. Tailgaters, people get drunk, they'll rent out. I bought like 5 of those Connect Fours, and then I bought like maybe like 5 or 6 of those what is it called, cornholes. And me and him just went over there. We just started renting them out. We were like $40 a rental, like for the tailgating time, and we would rent like 6 or 7 of them, like 6 of them at a time. 5 each. And we were making decent money. So I was like, okay. So then after that, I was like, let's get it. Let me do something myself that's more wealthy for me. I moved into my apartment and stuff, and then I found the photo booth stuff, and I was like, you know what, that sounds great. Weekends you could do it. Weekdays I could do drop offs and stuff like that. So and it worked out. So
Dang,
here,
that's impressive, man. The tailgating thing, there's
yes.
opportunity there, man.
Yeah, I don't do it no more. I still have the games. They're at my uncle's house. But I don't really do it no more unless people want it. Like, I do bring it up as like an offer. Like, I kind of throw it in as like kind of like a free thing so they could book the photo booth.
Yeah,
Now,
Yeah, bro, I do the same thing. The game stuff is it's different now. It's a different beast, the giant game rental, because those games are available in like Target and stuff now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but for me, you guys, people don't really believe me. Like I really started because I had an epiphany when I saw like 9 to 10 years, well, it was about 9 years ago. I was at a wedding with my friend and I saw this guy just relaxing and just I think I told you guys this story. He's just eating tacos and he's chilling there. And I asked him, like, hey man, how much are you making? He was like, yeah, $1,000. I'll be here for like 3 to 4 hours. And I was like,
Wow.
dude, I want this guy's life. He's getting paid to eat tacos. So for me, man, I was like, everything I do in life, I try to pick stuff that's not time consuming and something like I'm a lazy person at heart. Even though I do work hard, I don't want to like, how can I say it? I try to pick things that aren't going to burn me out, things that are going to be easy to scale. So that's why like I gravitated towards the photo booth business and the vending business. As you guys know, it's like somewhat passive, but
Mhm.
yeah, man. Let's shift the gear. I got a question for you, Hans. I find you so interesting, dude. EMT, you also, your other business is the mechanical bull business, which I think is like one of the coolest things ever. Do you mind
Yeah.
like shedding some light on that, man? Like, can you just talk about, the mechanical bull business? How'd you get started in that?
Um, it was actually my daughter's baby shower, and dude, this guy charged me a good amount of money to just drop off this boulder. I mean, this guy took like 30 minutes to like set up, and he took off, and I gave him like, a stack of cash. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Like this dude just made so much money. Now that I own him, I know that it takes more than just that. But I mean, I was like, damn, 30 minutes and this boom. So that's when I got into it. And then I started getting into the tables and chairs because every time I would rent mechanical bulls, people would ask for tables and chairs. So then I was like, okay, I'll add that as well. And then when I was doing my mechanical bulls, I started realizing like, yo, photo booths are like a thing. And so while I was doing my mechanical bulls, I just decided to expand. So my thing is always just trying to look for that next thing that you could add, offer value to your to whatever you're offering.
Mm,
That's what I would say.
interesting, interesting. Tyler, was there a moment where you were doing the giant games and you kind of like, was there any point there where you realized that that business was slowing down? Or was there a moment where, because you had a quite, I didn't realize you had that many games.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I have a lot. Well, I bought about like five. Between me and my uncle, we split it. So I bought all the Connect Fours. He bought all the cornholes, and actually, he has a friend who makes them now. So he still does the cornhole thing. He still goes over there, but then he saw that I do the photo booth thing now, so he kind of backed off when it came to that, and he just he's still doing his thing with like the cornhole. He doesn't really do the Connect Four games anymore, but like I said, he has a friend who builds it now, like builds those cornholes boards. Uh, so I guess I want to say like it was really seasonal, honestly, because football season starts. I want to say around August. That's when people get hyped up for like preseason and stuff. And then I want to say around maybe like Christmas time, it slows down because a lot of people are home spending time with their families, and then you got the regulars going to the games. And then I want to say it picks back up a little bit if your team is in the playoffs. And then, usually Giants and Jets, no offense to anybody, but they don't make it to the playoffs. And if they do, it's like the freaking first set of the playoffs and they're gone. So it's like it was more of like I want to say like an August to like October type of thing. And then after that, it would slow down. It would get too cold. Plus, Jersey gets really cold over here. So in the winter, it's like, yeah, you don't want to be outside like trying to hustle people for money. You're like, you know what? Let me just go inside. So I came to the conclusion. I'm like, I need to find something that's more passive. I want to find something that's more like, okay, like more like I could drop this off, make money, and go home, and then I'll come back and I'll pick it up. So definitely the photo booth really changed my life. It changed the game for me as far as a business owner. And I'm actually now at the end of October, I already ordered it. I just have to wait until I come back from vacation. I ordered two inflatables, two jumpers, because Saturday I went to a free event. Actually, it wasn't really a free event. So it was charged per group. I was charging per group. So every group that came in, I was charging them $5 to come in and use the photo booth. The turnout was okay. I didn't make as much as I wanted. It was upstate New York, so it was about an hour, 30 minutes from my house. It was more of like a food truck festival. And then I saw the guy next to me. I was sharing a generator with him because I didn't have my own generator. So he let the guy who owns the like festival, who runs the festivals, let me borrow the bounty house's generator. So we were connected together, and then I went up to him and asked him. I said, "Oh, how much did you make today?" And he said, "For those, it was a 5 hour event, I guess. He made over $800. Obviously, he had to stay there for the safety of the kids and stuff, but like the fact that he made in 5 hours like $800 just sitting there watching kids jump around on a bounty house was like insane. So I have to buy one of these things. So I bought two. I got a little greedy. I was like, I'm gonna buy two. And I talked to the guy. He's like, listen, since we do more events in Jersey, anyways, I'll make you a preferred vendor of ours, and we'll just bring you in for all the events because these people can't come to every event that we have. So I'm like, oh, perfect. So the two bouncers I paid off will be paid off in like 2 or 3 of his events.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it, I was gonna ask you too. Like, so Tyler, if you get those two jumpers, is it a lot of space?
Like as far as like
like storing it.
story. Well, if you could see, it depends on how you roll them up. Like if you roll them up, like a tight way. Like I got two small ones. Well, the one that I got's more of like an obstacle course one. That one might be a pain to roll up. The other one is like a regular basic like 13 by 13 jumper. The other one I think is 15 by like believe it was 15 by 18 or something like that. It's pretty big because it's like more like wider on the edges. So it's like more open, but I got them both at a good price on Facebook Marketplace. Somebody I met on Facebook, and he's selling two of them because he's actually he's leaving the business. He doesn't want to do it no more. So he's selling both of them for $800 a piece. So I'm like, okay, for $1,600, it's not bad. I think it's honestly it's easy because you could drop them off and leave, you know. And in New Jersey, at least, you could drop them off and just leave them in the backyard, and that's it.
Oh,
so it's good money.
Perfect segue. Drop off. You guys know where I'm going with this, right? I think, and I'm excited to say, about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe 2.5 years ago, you guys, I literally told the world I'm doing the drop off for $199. I'm gonna let people have it for the day. I'm not the first person to do this, but I think if there was a Mount Rushmore of people doing it, I'd be at the very end. I was like one of the first, but you guys have no idea how much hate I got. I have screenshots of people saying I'm going to ruin the business and that it's not going to work out, this and that. But I'm glad I didn't. Honestly, I'm glad I didn't listen, because if I listened and I didn't do the drop off, I don't think Photo Booth 101 would exist. Like you guys have done drop offs, right?
Yeah.
What's your guys' takeaways on it? Like you've done events where you stay, you've done events where you leave.
Yeah.
To you, like, what's your experience like, Hans?
That's my favorite type of event, to be honest, man. I mean, as passive comes, that's as passive as it gets, man. It's always great money. Just the feeling of just like, man, I just took no more than 30 minutes to set up, probably sometimes less if they don't want the backdrop. It takes me like 10 minutes, dude. And just leaving and then just giving them the live gallery and just making sure like to have backups, like say the text stops working or the email stops working, just give them backups so you don't have to go back, man. Like you said, man, it's a game changer, dude. I mean,
What do you do, like, what do you okay, so like let's just say on a typical Saturday you have a drop off. What do you do with your time after you drop it off?
I usually stay at home with my daughter and my wife. Go Costco. I've been called like twice since I started. Like, hey, something's going on. I don't know, tech stopped working or something. Usually it's something to do like, hey, maybe it might be your internet. Give it some time. If not, like I don't rent that far. I mean, I live in San Fernando Valley. There's a huge population where I live, so it's usually no more than a 20-minute drive to get to somewhere. And I'll just go there and diagnose what's wrong and fix it. But I mean, 90% of the time there's no hiccups, nothing, and it's just hanging out with the family.
Yeah, bro, it's usually internet connection. People freak out, like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, like even especially photo booth owners, man. And I'm gonna make a video on this. On Hans, you actually said something that I'll never forget, and it's something I believed in, but I've never like thought about it. It's when things are going wrong, it's to relax and just act like you've been there before, even if you haven't. If you're experiencing something new, like, and this is for anyone that's watching, right? Like if you're at an event and let's just say the printer goes down, you don't know what the issue is. Like the key is instead of just kind of like freaking out and like it can really show on your face, and I'm guilty of that. When I'm
Yeah.
stressed out, you can read my face. It's just, it is what it is. But my advice to anyone that's having issues with their photo booth at an event, I tell everyone this now. It's, don't be afraid to shut the line down and tell everyone to come back in 15 minutes. That way you're not making decisions. You have time to just kind of breathe and not worry about a
Yeah.
line of people just watching you. So that's always my advice. And if you're doing a digital event, I understand LumaBooth could be complicated, but like it's not a bad, it's not, how can I say it? It's not a bad app. It's just people don't know how to use it. They don't understand that the internet is usually the corporate of photos not being sent out. And Hans, you're in the group chat with the thing, you see it all the time, people freaking out. I even do it from time to time. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, that was a really big tip that like you told me one day. You're like, I don't think you told me, you mentioned it in the group.
I
Uh,
think it was something like fake it till you make it. Man, I've been in stressful situations as a medic where like either the person's dead or the person's about to die, and you have all these families screaming at you. And like you said, like either, hey man, if you can't calm down, just leave the room, I'll take care of this. Or if they're screaming at you, just be able to like phase out everything and just focus on what you need to do. So I mean, there's nothing more stressful than a life on the line. So like when I go to these photo booths, I'm like, this is cake, man. Even if something's going wrong, what's the worst that could happen? Like I'll be like, oh no, I have to give you 30 more minutes. Like just think of the positive. Like just give them 30 minutes. Like think of ways to fix whatever's going on. If the photo booth was down for 15 minutes, which has happened to me, I just tell them, hey man, sorry for the hiccup. I'm gonna add another 15 minutes to your event. Usually they're like, that's fine. We didn't even care, but most of the time they don't care.
they don't
Yeah.
care. Yeah.
And I think it's something that they should definitely consider. Like you could consider putting on your contract that maybe your photo booth will be operating, I want to say 85% of the time, and then that 15%. Just advise them on the contract that there could be a 15% for, you don't even need to say to repair, just for any maintenance the photo booth might need for the software or for the prints, if you guys do prints or anything like that. I feel like just having that on your contract makes you feel more comfortable because it's like the customer's already aware prior to them even booking you and going to the event that there could be some technical difficulties because at the end of the day, it's technology, and we can't depend on it too much sometimes. So
Yeah, it's out of your control. Like the internet, like, you know, if you're using cellular, an iPad that has cellular on it, and then you have 300 people in the same room, it's going to slow it down from time to time. And like
Exactly.
most people don't care if they have to wait. Yes, you may get a text, but like that's why I tell everyone like contracts are a must. Like the contracts that we have that we give people when they order the deluxe booths, um, if there's a contract there, it's in the contract stating like if the signal goes out, you just need to wait until we get there. Everyone gets their photos. It's just it's one of those things, man. And I'm glad to have you guys here because I know that you guys are gonna like, we're gonna continue to do these podcasts. We're gonna be able to talk about little things here and there that that won't come up in a video. So what would your guys's like if you guys can each give one piece of advice, right? For someone that's thinking of getting started, what would that advice be?
I would say don't be afraid. I hear a lot of people, especially on your TikTok lives. I'm pretty much like I'm a subscriber there now with all the gifs I give you. But that's funny. I get those for free. I get points on TikTok because I like stuff, and sometimes I'll like buy like one for like 29 cents, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll get like 30 of them. But anyways, um, so I feel like a lot of people like say like I want to buy a photo booth, like whether it's from Photo Booth 101 or anywhere else. Like I want to buy a photo booth, I want to start in this business, but I just don't. I'm scared. I don't want to start. And I think I said this on the ebook, if I'm not mistaken. I was like that too. Like I was very hesitant. It was like around the end of April. I was super hesitant. I was like, I don't think I should do this. I think it's gonna be like a waste of $1,200 or $1,300. I said like I don't think it's something I should get into right now. Like I have a lot of issues with my school loan and stuff like that. Man, if I listened to that devil behind me, oh man, that would have messed me up because I something told me on the inside, like, just take the chance. What's the worst that could happen? You sell the photo booth if it doesn't work out, whatever, and you just go back to square one again. I bought it, and here I am now, a few months later, done multiple events, at least made, I want to say over $7,000-8,000, maybe close to 10 now, counting future events I already have booked. if you want to count those. And then now, because of me taking a jump and saying, let me do it earlier than I thought I was going to do. Now, again, and I love bragging about this, in April of 2020. Oh, what's that?
Is that the Nike?
Yes. And that's where I was going with this. And because of that, April of 2024, I have a booking with Nike down in Orlando, Florida, and I'm from New Jersey. So it's cool that I get to actually travel with my business. And there's going to be more traveling to come because I'm looking, into going to the expo as well. Hopefully, Lord willing, I will be there. I will definitely try to show up. And I like to see that, like, not even a year later, I'm already traveling with the business and bringing it places, and people are starting to know who TKR Events is. So yeah, don't be afraid, and just if something tells you on the inside to do it, just do it, and don't listen to the little thing whispering in your ear in the background saying, "Oh no, it's gonna fail." You got to just push for it.
Yeah, and I don't know if people were able to see, but before Tyler talked about Nike, I held the phone up to show this photo. So yeah, Hans, what about you, brother? Like one piece of advice coming from
Know what you could offer, man. Some people complain like it's oversaturated. It might be, but not everybody's doing the same exact thing. For someone trying to start in San Fernando Valley, I've noticed that they don't do what Drew does, which is do the drop-offs along with like some like Connect Fours or like those big games. Nobody's doing that here. So always look at your market and see what you could add to set you apart from the market, whether it's add like a little Connect Four, like a big jumbo game or something. But if you can make yourself apart from the competition, then it's not going to seem that hard to like stand out. Because like, oh, you're the only person that's doing this. Nobody else is offering this service, So I would say that. Luckily, I have my mechanical booths, mechanical bulls. So that's something I could add. But I mean, just always look for something that you could stand out from the competition.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. So my piece of advice to everyone, and it's always the same, is, and then I always get so deep with it, right? Because nowadays, like, you can give advice to people, they can see how successful you are. My biggest advice, and I always go so extreme, but that's how I am. I'm either like all in and deep with everything I do and I think, is to think about yourself, right? So whoever's worried about getting started, is think about yourself as an old person. And you're going to look back in your life and you're going to see all of these times where you could have done something, where you had the motivation, you had the money to do it, you had the time, and you did it. So everything I do in life, I try to make the old version of myself happy. I want that guy to be like, damn, like what a savage. Like he everything he wanted in life, he tried. Yes, he didn't get it. Yes, he didn't get it all. He failed a lot, but like shit, he tried his best. So
Yeah.
And I know it sounds silly to get so deep like that. We're talking about a photo booth business, but I tell, like, you guys, this business can literally change your life. You want to talk about, Han's talking about generational wealth. I'm talking about money, but the freedom you get in this business, right? Especially with the drop-offs. Like, you could literally work just on Saturdays, right? Like physically have to go out to events. Obviously, there's work done behind the scenes, making templates, the desk time, but like, my wife was able to quit her job, like, I don't want to put her personal business, but she was making a lot of money working at a PR agency, and the photo booth business did that for her. And like, it was because of the drop off. We had last year, our best year ever, dude, 100, almost 130 in rental revenue, 130K. We're talking about iPad photo booths, you guys. So that was my motive, my thing to get people going. So really quick, I know we only got like 5 minutes left here. Let's brainstorm, you guys. We'll do it here on the podcast. What do you guys think? The photo booth boys podcast?
Photo booth boys. Oh man.
I don't know. What do you guys think? The photo booth guys? The photo booth guys podcast?
I was thinking about this deal. I thought of a cool name the other day, and I'm like, oh man. Let me see. You caught me off guard with this one.
So I'm always learning from these podcasts from you guys. So I wouldn't be opposed to call it like Photo Booth University, how we had, or Photo Booth 101 University, just because not only are other people learning from our podcast, but you guys are always bouncing ideas to me that I'm just like, after this podcast, I'm like, yo, Tyler said something pretty like spot on that I didn't think of, and I go write it down or put it on my notepad on my phone. So I mean, not only are people listening to this learning, but I'm also learning. So I think Photo Booth 101 University is a pretty cool thing. But I don't know about you guys.
I like that. I like the photo booth 101, but the university, how about photo booth 101? Yeah, actually, I rock with that. I like that. Photo booth 101 universe. Well, would it be just photo booth
Well,
101?
I remember the other day I put on your TikTok live. I put a podcast. What was it? Podcast 101.
Well, I feel
Or
like if it was podcast 101, it would be like a podcast about podcasting.
a podcast of podcasting. Yeah, that's right.
How
I like
about PBU, Photo Booth University, PBU?
photo booth university. Yeah, that's what it is. We'll just call it a university. We're just recording classes. That's all we're doing here, talking.
And I'm learning here with y'all. So
Love it. How about this? Next episode, we have to do the whole episode wearing some props.
wearing some, I'm down.
I have a bunch of them. I'll grab some of them from the car right now.
Shoot. So cool. Before we sign off here, you guys, let's talk about real quick. I got 2 minutes and 50 seconds here. What are your events looking like? Do you guys have events this weekend?
This weekend, yes. I have a promotional pop-up market, and then I have a night cruising market on Saturday, and then next week, is it next week? I think I have a quinceañera. I gotta look at my calendar, but yeah, I'm pretty much booked for like the next 3 weeks.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm booked up on Saturday. I actually have an event on Saturday. It's one of my friends, he's a detective in Patterson, and he got me an event for some like women's conference that they're doing for like a women's right activist thing that they're doing over there. So it's pretty cool. I get to be in front of a lot of business people. He told me there's a lot of corporate people that are gonna be there. So hopefully I'm gonna pass out some business cards. You know, I'm getting paid to be there, so it's gonna be fun.
Love it.
Pretty
Yeah. Now I'm stoked too because I get to make a video. We're doing all the types of rentals we do for the photo booth. So we have we have multiple, but we have some pickups. Customers come to us, they pick up the photo booth, they take it, they set it up, they bring it back, which is not something I talk about a lot. We have a drop off, then we have a drop off with prints. Now, I don't know if I've ever told you guys this, but we do from time to time. It's really expensive to get this, but we will do the all day rental and then we'll add printing either in the beginning or at the end of the rental. So most of the time we'll come in the morning, they can use the digital. Then we come about 3 hours before the rental ends. Then we bring the printer and then we do the printing, which is pretty cool because the customers get a lot of value and we end up making about like 800 no, I'm sorry, like 875 to 900 just for that service. So we'll be making about $2,900 this weekend with the photo booth business. And this is actually like a slow week, guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Like I said, a lot of people don't know there is money in this business, and even though like a lot of people are in the business, like you said, from the year of the 2000 and whatever, I don't want to say it the number, but
C9,
a lot
big C19.
of one big C19, a lot of people left the business, so it gave us new guys room to fit in and say, well, let me squeeze my way in to get there, and
Yeah.
now here we are now. So I think in the next 10 years we'll all be like sitting back at another podcast on like some bigger computer screen talking about, yeah, remember 10 years ago we did that silly podcast and now we're doing a better one.
All right, you guys, we're going to end this episode 1 Photo Booth 101 University right here. Tyler, Hans, do you guys have anything to plug? Instagram accounts, social media accounts? Let me know.
Yeah, so I just started my Instagram. I separated my photo booths from my mechanical bulls. So now we're on Best Photo Booths LA. So give me a follow and don't hesitate to ask questions if you need anything. Just shoot me a message.
Yes, and if you're in the New Jersey area, New York area, PA area, Connecticut area, I want to say that tri-state area, follow TKR_events. Actually, you can follow even though you're not in the area, but it's TKR_events. We got the photo booth. We do the bouncy houses now. So if you want to DM us, let me know.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you so much. So this is the first episode. I think it went really well. You guys, us three, maybe we'll have Monse jump in, but next episode you will see us with some props. We're gonna make it a little bit more silly. So see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Take care.